Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, and for you YouTube fans out there, they have started the process of closing down my channel. No problem with SoundCloud if you're on audio. What they do is they say you're impersonating somebody and you get 1 mark. Then no matter what you put up, you could put up, Jack and Jill, ran down the hill or whatever. Whatever it is you want to say. Then the second one, they say you're impersonating somebody. The third time, it's like planting drugs in somebody's car. It's completely bogus. It's like a kangaroo court. So and so I'm going to end up getting pushed off of here. So what I have done is I have started a BitChute and a Brighteon account. If you go, I will put this in the YouTube, the information in the YouTube description. Please start going. There's a lot of people going, Corbett Report and Last Vagabond in America, and there's a bunch of people that are moving over there because YouTube is just censoring tens and tens and tens of thousands of people. And so that's it. You can comment over there, you can like, you can make a contribution. Would really appreciate that. And in support of free speech, please go to start following me on BitChute or Brighteon. I'm going to go ahead and try both of them and keep using both of them just in case something happens to one of them if they get infiltrated by the CIA or the deep state or whatever. So it's been a good run. I've been doing this on YouTube now for what, three something years, and 4 years maybe. So all good things must come to an end when free speech and freedom of expression are an illusion. So inside the matrix. Thank you again. If you would please contribute to fundraiser, Patreon, and above and below. Also, let me see. Oh yeah, PayPal. I would really appreciate your help for all the hard work I do to keep you all informed. All right, here we go. This is not a long one, it's a fun one. Top 10 car-producing countries, 1950 to 2019. A video allegory for why the capitalist West cannot compete against communist socialist China. And pictured above a high-rise parking tower in China. Here we go. The vast majority of Americans do not realize that the USA's industrial capacity was effectively nationalized for World War II to assure what was needed for the cause. The federal government took over production planning and kept tabs on all the factories and businesses that were involved. With state planning and manufacturing, the USA was able to build 3 to 5 aircraft carriers a year, over 300,000 airplanes, not to mention millions of tons of arms, equipment, materiel, ammunition, clothing, food, fuel, and medical supplies. Today, the U.S. only builds 1 aircraft every 5 years, and the last, the USS Gerald Ford, has so many problems that it's not fit for battle. Airplanes. The F-35 is one of the biggest, most corrupt government acquisitions ever witnessed, now being counted in the trillions of dollars, and it can't even fly. U.S. taxpayers' hard-earned money brazenly stolen by military contractors. The U.S. citizens have been brainwashed by the West's big lie propaganda machine, the BLPM, that China's planned economy is communist evil. Nevertheless, Beijing hasn't just done it for wartime needs, but has been after it since the People's Liberation in 1949. For the last 70 years, China has been growing, progressing, and advancing at levels never before seen in human history, especially on such a large scale. From agriculture to aviation, from construction to computers, and from manufacturing to mining, all the way from A to Z. As I wrote in the China trilogy, see below, Mao Zedong and his fellow leaders loved vehicles. They were enthralled with them because they were so manufacturing intensive. tires, spark plugs, filters, windshields, cables, screws, washers, and on and on. All the many thousands of parts that go into making a car or truck. Vehicles were seen as a vehicle to help drive China's, pun intended, to become an industrial powerhouse and provide employment for millions of factory workers. Automobiles were not a strategic objective. When my wife and I moved to China in 1990, Beijing only had about 25,000 cars, believe it or not, and when we left in 1997, there were around 50,000 or so, with most of them being government-owned. We were one of the few who had privately owned cars in those days. But other kinds of vehicles were badly needed in the early days, the 1950s and 1960s, so the state planned for massive production of farm and earth-moving tractors and implements, trucks of all sizes, urban and rural, harvesters, trailers, wagons, and the like, and on a grander scale, train cars, locomotives, airplanes, rockets, missiles, and satellites. Thus, during the Mao era, 1949 to 1978, China went from being a 99-pound industrial weakling to a global manufacturing powerhouse. With this solid foundation, starting in 1978 to 1980, Deng Xiaoping's administration could begin state planning for more light industry, consumer goods, as well as automobiles. The 6-minute video below is an excellent allegory for China's state planning economy, still going from strength to strength after all these years. What China has done for automobile production in the last 2 decades is what happened for the rest of the country's industrial and manufacturing capacity during the first 25 years after liberation. In this short clip, China doesn't even show up in the global top 10 until 1998, yet by 2004 had already leapfrogged into the number 4 position, ahead of Brazil, Canada, Spain, South Korea, and France. By 2006, China pulled ahead of mighty Germany to take 3rd place, and in a matter of 2 years later, surged past Japan and the United States to become the King Kong of global automobile production. From that point on, China's bar on the graph keeps getting longer, while Japan, the USA, and others become relatively smaller. By 2014, China was manufacturing twice as many cars as Japan and the USA, and 4 times as many as Germany. A lot goes into what is happening. Into what is happening in car manufacturing in China, but history has shown that state planning has much to do with its success. Benchmarks, objectives, and goal setting matter in education and one's personal and professional life. The same is true for national economies. Look no further than the USA's phenomenal growth in production level during the 1940s, when much of the nation's capacities were nationalized and state planned. If then, why not now? The evidence on both sides of the ocean demonstrates that communist socialist state planning works best. The USA only did it for a few years and then abandoned it. China has never stopped, and having lived and worked in both countries, 1990 to 2019, less the 5 years we were in France, the differences between their long-term development and progress are stark indeed, and the disparity is getting bigger and wider to the detriment of the U.S. citizens. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, signing out, and I'll hopefully you will continue to follow and comment on BitChute and Brighteon. Thank you very much.